Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 214 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of September 20th through 26th, 2021. My name's Tim Beeman.
And I'm Michael Hastings.
And we're opening the recipe trunk. We're recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studios in the Lab at Industry Hill. Any conversations using Zoom are sponsored by Bull's Tavern. If you're listening on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, or anything like that, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, and a rating, and hit the subscribe button. It would help us out tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, welcome and thank you. This episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Diamondback Grill. It is a casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista, Winston-Salem. It's a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant. It sources most of its ingredients from local farmers. I suggest that you try one of their theme menu specials. Every night of the week that they're open, there's a different theme. You can get fancy or casual there in Diamondback. They have a more laid-back bar area and cafe side with a more of a fine dining atmosphere on that side, and it's also a great meal no matter what you're doing. I highly recommend them for your big and small events, a romantic dinner with your honey, or just to go have a drink and appetizers and enjoy the ambiance. They're at 751 Avalon Road. Find them on the web, diamondbackgrill.com, and on Facebook and Instagram. To make reservations, call 336-722-0006. And, of course, tell them that I sent you. Everybody's still hiring. Get a job. That's how it goes. They could use the help. So Eat, Drink, Burger Week is here. Michael's newspaper, the Winston-Salem Journal, along with their sister paper, the Greensboro News and Record, in partnership with Eat, Drink, Triad and the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition, is presenting the best one-off burgers from all across the Triad. We were going to have Algernon on today, but he teaches at a local college part-time, and I believe the dean or someone wanted to talk to him, so he had to hold back. So he may come on next week to talk about the winner of this.
Right,
so,
right.
So
now, starting September 19th
Yes.
through the 25th, all across the Triad, and there are 23 restaurants participating, Tim.
awesome.
And so here's the deal. 23 restaurants were asked to develop a burger that's not on the menu. So this is something you haven't had before, at least at this restaurant.
A one-off.
Yeah, a one-off, special off-the-menu burger for $10 or less.
Yeah.
A lot of people are charging just $10 flat, but some are charging less.
Yeah.
And a special burger just for this week, and you can go visit the restaurant, order the burger, and then vote. So there's a vote online, and also when you go in the restaurant, there's placards on the tables with a QR code.
Yeah.
So if you say, hey, this is the one, this is my favorite burger, I want to vote for it, just put your phone up to that QR code and it'll register your vote. So at the end of the week, by next week, we'll have the results of that. But 23 restaurants, mostly Winston-Salem, but not all Winston-Salem.
Right. There's some Greensboro. There's High Point.
There's 4 down in Lexington.
Okay.
There's at least, I believe, at least 2 or 3 in High Point, 1 in Greensboro, a couple in Kernersville.
Okay.
So a really good variety of places. And obviously there are, almost every restaurant in town actually sells a burger, but there's lots of cool burgers, and it's just neat to see everybody sort of have fun and come up with something creative.
Right, and that's the beauty of this too, is it's not something, even if all these restaurants do have a burger, they were vetted to make sure that no two were alike. Yeah. And so each one has this special thing, so it's an event for you, it's an event for them. So even if you are used to, well, I've had a burger there this many times. Well, you've not had this burger. I can almost guarantee it, because although it may be on the menu later, it has not been on the menu thus far.
That's right.
And so it's an event. It's something fun.
And who doesn't love burgers?
Right.
So
Who are you talking to,
yeah,
man?
So now, ask me next week how much I still love burgers after eating all this, because I'm gonna. I don't know whether I'm gonna get to all 23, but I'm gonna make a good faith effort. So I've got 3 under my belt or in my stomach as we speak.
Over your belt now.
over my belt, so we're off to a good start here.
Yeah, I had one. I went to Papa Lee's today.
Well, tell me about what they're doing.
So it's an atomic burger. So it's a burger with pepper jack cheese, chipotle mayo, buffalo wing sauce, jalapenos, lettuce, tomato, and on a sesame seed bun. Now, I am not a fan of sesame seed buns normally. It's okay if it's like on a McDonald's where there's like 17 sesame seed buns, but when the whole top of it is crusty with, that's not my favorite thing. But this was a really good burger. And this doesn't count towards my burger thing, so because it has to be on the menu for me to count it.
Right.
So I can talk about this, and I thought it was quite flavorful. I had a little bit of a runny nose afterwards, but jalapenos and raw buffalo sauce on it, and chipotle mayo. That was
and Papa Lee's is for folks who don't know, is the former Zesto's right over there on 5th Street on the edge of downtown.
2600 New Walkertown Road, corner of New Walkertown and 14th Street.
So today I went out. I actually hit 3 places today. So I went out Country Club Road to TJ's Deli.
Right.
And they are doing a sweet chili brie burger.
Wow.
So and there's a lot of brie cheese on it, which is I really kind of liked. It's a pretty cheesy burger. It's kind of a messy handful. You could almost eat it with a fork kind of burger.
Yeah.
But actually the cool part is they don't tell you that there's just a tiny little bit of sweetness and chilliness, but there's also grilled mushrooms and grilled onions on it. And I thought the grilled mushrooms and onions with the brie went really well. So that was kind of a fun burger. I enjoyed that.
That's cool.
And then I stopped by East Coast Wings, which is right down the street there on Country Club. And they have a teriyaki jalapeno burger, which I didn't find terribly spicy. But the kind of cool thing about it's first of all, it's a double cheeseburger with lettuce and tomato. But also, in addition to the teriyaki flavor, it's got diced pineapple on it. Okay. So that was kind of cool.
Brings some Hawaiian.
It's got a little Hawaiian Asian feel to it, and that was pretty good. And they serve that. They serve that with some of their potato chips.
Okay.
So that was a good. Oh, by the way, TJ's was one of those places that I think they charged only $8.50 for this burger. It was a good sized burger too.
Okay.
And then they had the East Coast Wings, and then the third one. Oh no, this was a kind of different burger you don't see every day. From the Porch Kitchen Cantina down in West End Millworks.
Yeah.
Of course, they're Tex-Mex, so they're all into the avocado and the salsas and all that Tex-Mex stuff. So they came with a burger that they call. Let me tell you exactly what they call it. They call it the Amelia Burger, which I'm not sure what that means, but but what it is and they served it open face, which is kind of cool, with deep fried slices of avocado. So these were slices, and they were kind of thick slices too, almost like wedges of avocado, with a kind of really super crunchy coating. So quick. You normally don't cook avocado,
right?
In general,
how do they keep it from just melting?
Well, it's kind of like, you ever had deep fried ice cream? So it's kind of like this thing. It's just in and out of a hot fryer really quick. So, but it comes out really. You get this really crispy coating, and then you have that kind of creamy, soft avocado on the inside, which is kind of cool. So there's a couple wedges of that, and then I thought this was interesting too. They put their pico de gallo on the burger.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of lettuce there, but so instead of the tomato and a slice of tomato, slice of onion, there was the tomato and onion and the jalapeno in the pico de gallo, which was kind of a nice touch, I thought. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
A little bit of cilantro and stuff in there too.
Yeah.
You had that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun idea.
Definitely off to a good start.
Yeah. And I know that they're giving away a Yeti cooler to one Instagram poster. I'm sure as a sponsor, I am not eligible, and as an employee, you probably aren't either.
No.
But I hope to see a lot of people posting their Eat, Drink, Burger Week pictures, because that's awesome. Algernon, a lot of this concept came from Algernon. It was the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition.
Yeah, well, Katie Murphy, who's advertising director for the Journal, came from a different paper where they had done a similar promotion.
Yeah.
And it had big success with it. So she brought it up to our publisher, Alton Brown, and then got,
who is not the guy from Food Network,
who
right?
is not the guy. Yeah. So there's Alton Brown on the Food Network, right? And Alton Brown is the Winston-Salem Journal publisher. Okay. But anyway, Katie said, "Hey, this Burger Week was really successful in my last job. Would you be interested?" And so she finally got it rolling, and it like I said, I think it's just going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people.
Yeah. So make sure that you follow Triad Food and Beverage Coalition. It's Eat, Drink, Triad on Instagram. The Journal and News and Record, to see all the things that are being posted, and the best way to keep track. And you'll get the lineup, the roster, if you will, of where the burgers and what they are, and go try them.
Yeah. So if you go on the Journal's website, there's you can see right at the top there's a Burger Week thing. You click on that, and it will tell you all 23 places, and it also lists the burgers, so you can see what they're. I think if you click on it, it'll tell you. Yeah. So if you click on the place's name, it'll give you a description of exactly what kind of burger they're doing, so you can see whether it's something you might like, or if you have an allergy issue or something like that. So that's all on journalnow.com.
Awesome. All right. Boondoggies, speaking of burgers, had a double-edged announcement this week. They announced a second location in Moxville at the Collin Creek Golf Club, but they were also reducing hours at their original location in Yadkinville, pulling back to Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. They've been in desperate need for employees since they even opened their doors out there. Yadkinville loves them, but they don't want to work for them. I really wish they would open one in Clemens or Louisville, but best would be in Winston-Salem. But they used to be on the corner of Jonestown and Stratford.
Right. For those that don't know, Boondoggie started as a truck, food truck, and most of their business was done in Winston-Salem. They have that great corner where the ice cream and hot dog
Dash City Dogs now, right?
Dash City Dogs and the name of the ice cream.
Sweet Treats.
Twin City.
I'm not sure.
But there's a great ice cream place and Dash City hot dogs on that corner of Clemensville and South Stratford Road.
Yeah.
But Boondoggies was there for a long time until he finally found this brick and mortar place, and he does a great job. I'm glad he found that place in Yadkinville, but sometimes I wish he was a little closer to Winston.
Yeah, because as much as I love those burgers, I don't know if you knew this, it was number one on my burger tour in 2019. I just hate driving to Yadkinville, and Moxville is even worse. I do hope that Moxville supports the restaurant, and I especially hope that Moxville provides them the help that they will need out there. But they're at a golf club, so I'm sure that would probably be a little bit different.
I'm assuming they're going to have some built-in clientele right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Grandma Ruby's announced that they're opening at 6 a.m. Monday through Saturday and 7 a.m. on Sundays. I don't know what their hours were, but I'm thinking it was around 8 a.m. So you can get your breakfast or lunch fixed earlier. Not lunch, but breakfast earlier at 6 a.m. at Grandma Ruby's. I like the food at Grandma Ruby's. I think it's, I've never had anything bad there. Their cheeseburgers are good. their chicken and dumplings are really, really good. I really enjoyed those. They're made in house, and so.
And are they rolled dumplings, or are they like drop dumplings?
I think they're drop.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I do the weekly, I check through the entire list of all the restaurants that I have on the list that I kept up with. Leah and I started, and Leah's kind of backed out, so it's me. So I have to go through all 300 and some restaurants every week. Little Red Caboose posted for the first time in a long while. They go long periods of time, and it was 6 posts exactly the same thing for Glass Animals. I don't want to talk, I just want to dance video. Now I'm like, well, that was odd. Why did they put that there? And then I watched the video, the whole video, and this is their official video of this band out of the UK called Glass Animals. The entire video was shot here in Winston. It includes Little Red Caboose, Mountain Fried Chicken, Kermit's Hot Dogs, Creekside Lanes Bowling Alley, that's near my house, the Tickled Pink convenience store and car wash on Kernersville Road, and the annoying parking lot traveling carnival that sets up at Parkway Plaza.
Wow, I need to go watch this.
Yeah, and it's a little catchy tune. It's electronica, upbeat kind of stuff. But they have over 1 million followers on YouTube, and so yeah, it's a little catchy. They've been around since about 2010. So yeah, and it's pretty cool to see all these people dancing in these restaurants and at Winston-Salem places.
I haven't been out to Little Red Caboose in a while, but boy, when I did my hot dog tour years ago, they were a favorite, and it was just a cool place. They had that kind of what we used to call like nuclear pink hot dogs.
Yes,
and
yes,
but they were tasty.
Yeah, usually the things that look like they shouldn't be good are the best. Ugly food is good food usually. Our sponsor, Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities very seriously. It's in their charter, so they have to. And for us, having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel Butner certainly does not suck. It's Italian wine harvest right now. The 4 cheese and sausage stuffed mushrooms for an appetizer, but the entree, the Johnny Trio, that's the filet, the chicken brine, and the fettuccine Alfredo, I believe, is the Johnny Trio. That's fantastic. Actually, it's mezzaluna ravioli, not fettuccine. Or the ragatini campagnolo, which is, each one of those are paired with the red blends, and the pollo rosa Maria paired with a white blend. For more information about those pairings and to order, or just go get reservations, go to Carrabba's.com. Now, Michael, both of us, completely independent of each other, had food from New Szechuan this weekend. Well, I think we were both a little surprised when we saw each other there.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Hey!
So, it's nice meeting your wife.
Great.
I joked about trying the intestine, and you were slightly apprehensive about that. Well,
I wanted to try it. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, so I took one for the team, and I got the intestine with chili peppers, and I am not at all sorry that I did.
Good.
This was perhaps the best thing that I've ever had there, and I've had a lot there, and it's all good there. I sent you a message and said I highly recommend this.
Yeah.
So
great.
Think of eating Sichuan style pork that had the consistency and texture of like a really good calamari. Not the chewy, overly done, that's the rubber band like, but the done just right that it just melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this says. You didn't get any gaminess. I know, like, if you have chitlins and things like that, it sometimes tends to be gamey.
Now, did you order the mild, the medium, or the spicy?
I went all the way, all three peppers.
Oh, now one thing about New Szechuan is when they say it's spicy,
they're not kidding.
It.
Yeah,
they mean it. They mean it. So unless you're really serious about your chilies, you want to be careful there.
Yeah, I found that as more I ate that, and eating the jalapenos didn't affect me at all because it was starting to numb my mouth anyway. So. But yeah, so it was slightly chewy, but not distractingly so. And the spice, I think, went nice with it. Maybe the spice distracted me from what it was I was eating, because sometimes whenever I have dinners that include things that might seem out there, as long as I don't know what it is before I eat it, generally I'm okay. And then I'm like, oh, I just ate hog testicles. Okay, let's go on with another one then.
I've had those meals before where people wouldn't tell me what I was eating.
Yeah. Yeah, but did you eat it?
I ate it
Yeah,
anyway.
yes. Because my thing is if I can't pronounce it or I shouldn't be eating it, I certainly want to eat it, or at least try it. And if I don't like it, I won't finish it. But and I told them, I said, look, I will pay for it if I don't like it. So it's not one of those experimental things. I'm going to pay for it regardless. And I ate every bit of it.
They have a lot of neat stuff on the menu. As a matter of fact, New Sichuan just redid their menu.
Yes.
They consolidated a little bit, so I think it's a little bit smaller, but there's lots of good dishes.
It's smaller, but I think it's wider breadth of action. It truly has different things than I remember it having.
Yeah.
And you had.
So I ordered, with me and my family ordered a couple things. Well, we had a little bit of fried rice, which wasn't too exotic, and a little bit of lo mein, which wasn't too exotic. But ordered the Dan Dan noodles, one of the best things on the menu, and certainly one of the favorite things. If you follow them on social media, everybody loves the Dan Dan noodles. It's got minced pork and a little bok choy and some noodles. Really good dish. So I got some of those because I always get some of those. But I also tried the minced pork and chickpeas with what they call jelly noodles, which I believe are made with mung bean starch primarily. So they're kind of clearish, sort of cellophane looking noodles. And mine was pretty spicy. I'm pretty sure I asked for the medium, but it had a good kick to it. But I like a good kick, so that was good.
Yeah.
That was delicious. Also, highly recommend the Sichuan wontons in red chili oil.
Okay.
Those are really good because the wontons themselves are mild, and I believe it's a ground pork filling. All the heat is in the oil that they're kind of sitting in, but you kind of can choose how much you want.
Sure.
On your wonton. Those were really, really tasty. And let's see, we also got another kind of. I think we got. My son also got a jelly noodle dish that was kind of similar to mine, but both of those were really, really tasty.
Stephanie got the orange chicken. She doesn't go out of her way generally, unless that's what the purpose is. She's like, I wanted to try something, and she tried my intestine, and not mine, but the intestine on my plate. Right. And but she said I could eat that. It was spicy for her, though. She would actually definitely have to tone it down a little bit. But she also had what was it? It was the chive and pork shrimp dumplings.
Yep.
Yeah. And the chive actually made it a little earthy and a little more obviously grounded. It wasn't as over the top.
When I was looking at the apps, I think I mentioned this. I almost ordered that. I ended up going with the wontons, but that sounded really good.
Yeah. And then I had the xiaolong bao. I think that's how you say that, the soup dumplings. Mm-hmm. These were pork. The soup dumplings are just that. It's thin dumplings or dough filled with pork, and mostly like a pork stock, this gelatin-like cube that they put in there and wrap it up, and then they steam it. And when they steam it, the cube melts and the soup comes back. And it was like eating soup.
Yeah, those are really cool.
And so it was really cool. I really did enjoy it.
We should mention that not everything in the menu has pork in it.
Right.
They have seafood. They have They have some vegetarian. They have some tofu dishes.
Yeah.
One thing neat is a lot of the dishes have bok choy in them. So if you like bok choy, you'll.
Do you like bok choy?
I love it. I love
it.
I do
too.
So,
I'm a huge fan.
So the bok choy tends to show up in a vegetable in a lot of side dishes. I noticed there.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Eat your greens.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're going to be forced to eat them like I am, get them in some way that you like, which is with other things that are not greens. New Szechuan just recently reopened their dining room. They were still doing drive-through only, which was odd, but it was cool the way they did it.
Yeah, the dining room was closed for a long time, and they had a serious drive-through with they had like a plastic sheet so that they weren't like no one could possibly be breathing on anybody else, and they had a table on the outside that they could actually sit your stuff on, so it could be a contactless interaction. Yeah. And of course, there's online ordering, and they're still doing the online ordering for pickups. So you can still order online on their website. But they've opened the dining room now, and they've closed. Now, some people are a little bit sad that they closed the drive-through. They really liked having that drive-through.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what they've done. So if you're just getting takeout, you just walk in the door with a mask and
it's a small parking lot, so you don't have to like walk a long way to get there. And you just go in on it. Yeah. Michael and Michelle over at Mojito did get the GoFundMe fundraiser started for Zeke, their employee that underwent the very unfortunate double hit and run a couple weeks back. The address for that is way too long, so I'm not going to rattle it off here. So I'm going to encourage you to visit the Mojito Latin Soul Food Facebook page. The info and the link is right there. You can click on it and go and donate if you want to. Now, Michael, I have two things that I saw in a couple of groups that didn't have a lot of detail, but you're the man who knows. So I'm going to ask you, and if you don't know or don't want to talk about it, that's okay.
Okay.
What do you know about the Dodge City Steakhouse going where the Ruby Tuesdays was?
I know about as much as you do, unfortunately. Except that the Dodge City Steakhouse, I believe, is owned by the same people who own the Coach's Neighborhood Grill.
Okay.
So Coach's Neighborhood Grill is a chain, but it's a North Carolina small chain, and the folks are based in Asheboro, right? And they recently opened the first Coach's in Winston, or I think the only one. It's the only one in the Triad, actually, up on Country Club, where McAnelli's. Southern Time, in that shopping center near where the Harris Teeter Shopping Center that is near the intersection of Country Club and Peace Haven.
Yeah, it's down in the little hole.
Yeah.
So Southern Time did not last that long.
Southern Time, the McAnelli's was there for a year, and then for many years, and then Southern Time took over for roughly a year and change, I think.
Yeah.
But now it's Coach's Neighborhood Grill. Similar concept, bar and grill, where you can get a kind of variety. You can get burgers, you can get pastas, you can and wings, and then of course they have a full bar menu, kind of a little bit of a so American food, a little bit sports bar atmosphere. They got a lot of TVs on the walls showing the games. And stuff there at Coach's. So their other concept is Dodge City Steakhouse, of which there's fewer of these steakhouses. I want to say that there's less than 6. There's maybe 13. I want to say there's 13 Coaches, and there's maybe four to 6 of the steakhouse concepts around. So I haven't been in one of the steakhouses yet. So that's about the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. And the other thing, Tiger Tea.
Don't know about that.
It's over there where like Toys R Us was, and the Silence Creek Crossing shopping center.
Yeah, I know, like Zilch.
Yeah, it's a chain.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a chain. I know, but someone just mentioned, it's there. So okay. I am teaming up with Explore Winston-Salem, an Instagram-based business, but they have a new website, explorewinstonNC.com. Christy Bellis left her job to take on the events and happenings around town and bring them to you, and not just food stuff. In fact, she doesn't really focus on the food part at all unless it's a big event. I will be helping her with that. She did tag me on the Eat, Drink, Burger Week post that she made, and so I made sure that I was putting that out there in response, and so follow them. Follow Eat Drink Triad on Instagram. Follow all those. Those are all intertwined. You had some things you wanted to talk about, did you?
Couple things of note. On PBS North Carolina this week, there was a new cooking show, a North Carolina cooking show. Sherry Castle, who's a cookbook author and well-known cooking teacher who lives in Pittsburgh, is the host of a new show called The Key Ingredient, and it's premiering on Thursday, September 23rd on PBS North Carolina. I believe at 7:30 p.m. It's a half-hour show. The series is 8 half-hour episodes, primarily cooking. That's Sherry's thing is being in the kitchen. But there's also she also has some guests from across the state, all the way from like Asheville, pretty much to the coast. I think various chefs, farmers that she talks to. So you get to hear some stories about some North Carolina folks that maybe you may or may not know about. As well as some good recipes. So that's Thursday night, and then this weekend, Bookmarks is bringing in a couple food writers, 3. So on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock at Calvary Church down on Holly Avenue downtown, there's going to be a panel discussion with all 3 of them. So there is Melba Wilson, who has a restaurant in Harlem called Melba's. And her cookbook is called Melba's Comfort Food. You may know her from the Food Network if you ever watched Throwdown with Bobby Flay. Okay. She was on that show, and she beat him. Okay. She beat Bobby she beat him doing this throwdown chicken, fried chicken, and eggnog waffles. So that's kind of what she's known for now. I believe she serves them at the restaurant. And that recipe was in the paper last week.
Okay.
In the journal. You can get it on journalnow.com. So that's Melba Wilson. The second one is Belinda Smith Sullivan, who's in the process. She's living in Peach Country down in South Carolina, but she's in the process of actually moving to Winston-Salem. She will be a Winston-Salem resident shortly. I think
she'll be a Camel citizen.
Yeah. I think she would have been already if not for the pandemic. It's messed up her moving plans somewhat. But Belinda's written, this is her third cookbook now, called Southern Sugar. So there will be a story in this Wednesday's paper on the 22nd. You also can, about Belinda with a couple of her recipes. A lot of Southern classics like sweet potato pound cake and pineapple upside down cake and molasses spice cookies and all kinds of stuff. There's ice cream recipes in there. She even has some adult beverage recipes in there, which you don't often see in a quote unquote baking book. So that's Southern Sugar. And then the third writer is a real interesting guy I've met before who's been to Winston-Salem a couple times. His name is Adrian Miller.
That name sounds familiar.
Some may know his first book, which is called Soul Food, which is kind of it's not a cookbook. It's more like a history of soul food in America. But his third book is called Black Smoke, and it's all about the history of blacks, African Americans, and barbecue in this country. Real interesting, looking at the history and their role in the slavery area and beyond, and right up to the present day, and a kind of interesting celebration of blacks and their role in barbecue. So all 3 of those will be doing a panel discussion talking about their stories. Or at 11 a.m. on Saturday at Bookmarks, and you can find that on Bookmarks website. But you could there'll also be stories. I've got stories on both Black Smoke and Southern Sugar that will be in Wednesday's paper, which means you can also get them on journalnow.com.
Awesome. That's how I'm a digital subscriber. Real quick, talk about burgers. I had 2 official burgers this week. The first, my friend Jeff David sponsored a burger on Wednesday, which was, as you'll recall from last week, double cheeseburger day. And we went to Foothills. I needed to put one on the list. Okay. And it wasn't a double, but it was a thick one. So it was their pub burger, their regular pub burger. Mayo, pickles, tomato, onion on what I believe was just a hamburger bun. And the other one, I went to DB's and had that big brisket burger.
Oh, yeah.
It was brisket, hamburger, mac and cheese, mayo on a brioche, I think brioche bun.
That is a big burger.
That is a big burger, and I will say that it's hard to eat. Not hard to eat because of what it is, but I spent more time reconstructing it than I did eating it.
Well, when they bring it to the table, it's at least 6 inches tall.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it's crazy, but
and I can't open my jaw quite that.
There's a lot of, and I think that's a problem because I was pushing down, so parts were squirting out of it. I'm like, okay, well, I have to put it back in there. But those are the two.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah, and did we mention it's not only brisket on there, but mac and cheese? They call it the big brisket burger, but there's also mac and cheese.
Yeah, and burger
on the burger. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's burger, a slab of brisket, and mac and cheese. So. Yeah.
And bacon.
Yeah. I left that part off. Yeah.
Like I said, it's a big burger.
Yeah. Yes. All right, it's time for Getting in Your Business. And today we have with us from B&G Pies because, B&G Pies are a Winston-Salem staple. They're delicious and their history. So we have with us, you're the owner, right?
I am.
Shannon, the owner of B&G Pies, here with us. So everybody give it up for her. So welcome. You've never done a podcast before, so this is your first time doing this.
Yes, this is my first time, and I'm so excited to be here.
Excellent. So you're not old enough to have been with B&G when it first started. So when did tell us a little at first the history of B&G, okay. And then we'll go from there.
Sure. Like you said, B&G is a staple around here for sure. So we've been in business 72 years. So no, I'm not that old, but I have had B&G for about 12 years, and I was the third owner. So, it's sort of now woven into a part of my family, and it started 72 years ago from a family, 2 cousins. B&G, everyone wants to know, what that stands for all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's Botenheimer and Griffin, Mr. Botenheimer, Mr. Griffin, and they were cousins, and they were had come home from the war and didn't really know what they were going to do. Just didn't know. So folklore plus a little, a little oral history says that they started making these like flapjacks, turnovers, popovers, hand pies on the back of their porch. And urban legend goes that as that smell sort of wafted up, and everyone, is on their screened in porch or back porch, I guess, that they just got this following, right? And that it grew and grew and grew, and that they would make them every day, mostly for neighbors and friends and family or whatever. And then as that grew, and there started to be lines, right? And this was in Virginia, that they thought, we gotta do something. I think that we're really on to something. So that is how it started, literally a backyard product. And fast forward to the 80s when they sold in the millions of pies, and now a little less than that in the 2020s. So here we are, but we are still here, and we are making pies every day by hand, all day, every day.
Well, it says so right there, handmade pies.
That's right. It does.
So when did it move from Virginia to here?
So that was in when they incorporated and started their business, or however that looked for them. They came here and started on Marshall Street, and then it moved to Old Lexington Road, and then it moved to Royal Hall, and then back to Old Lexington Road, and now it's on Northwest Boulevard. So we So they started. I've got the best picture. I mean, I really do have such wonderful memorabilia from B&G, and it's so fun to collect and see. Or someone will DM me or get in touch with me and say, "Hey, I just saw this at a yard sale," or I had, or whatever. So I have a really nice collection, and
Wait for it.
Wait, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So I have a picture of the head of royal cake, Vernon Rudolph, Guy Wilkerson, and I think Mr. Bodenheimer.
So Guy Wilkerson from Dewey's.
Right.
Right. Sorry. Thank you.
And Vernon from
Krispy Kreme.
Yep.
So they're all in their baker's whites, right? And I just love this picture. And so, their foot standing up on a bag of sugar or something. Everyone's smoking, whatever. But all these men, these sort of bakery captains of industry, if you will, they all started out the very same level. They all started out borrowing a bag of sugar from one another, or just sort of making it all work. And I laugh because Krispy Kreme and B&G didn't quite have the same trajectory, unfortunately.
Right.
But back then, it was a brotherhood, I think, actually. It was, they believed in their product. They believed in hard work. And they got up every day and made their confections and just had just really, set the tone for what was going to happen here.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. This is your podcast too, man.
This is Michael Hastings, by the way. So I know you make them by hand. I've seen you make them, and you have that cool little press. But you really are doing everything by hand. But has anything have other aspects of the way the pies are made changed much over the years? Because we are 70 years down the road.
I love this question so much because I get it all the time. And I will say, I used to be, I say things like this. We have survived, fat-free, low-carb, dairy-free, nut-free, gluten-free, whatever, vegan. I mean, every trend, low calorie, every trend, we have just remained sort of steady, slow and steady. So people say all the time, well, I need a sugar-free pie, or I need a baked pie, or I need whatever I need. And I have said that on my watch, nothing is going to change. On my watch, I would feel bad if they weren't made by hand. I would feel bad if I got a sheeter in there and, just started pressing out dough and filling it with some filling out of a pail. I would feel bad. Yeah. We have I will say the one thing we have changed our fry medium. And I did that about 5 years ago. But that's the only real thing that I've changed at all. There's very few preservatives in these pies, very, very few, and so they don't last forever. So they're still, a takeaway treat, but they're not going to last on a convenience store shelf for 90 days or 120 days.
Sorry about that.
No. So I have tried very hard to stay true to what the founders and everyone seems to like.
What about the flavors? How many flavors do you make now?
I make 5.
And have you changed any of these flavors? Are any of them new or?
So we have had, we have now, our current lineup is apple, cherry, peach, lemon, and chocolate. Everyone is very definitive on what they like. Everyone has, a serious commitment to their flavor. We are in the process now of doing some R&D because I feel like we need a new flavor. We need a new something. I'm thinking, without giving too much away, but
passion fruit flavor.
Right. I'm thinking about having a online sort of contest and see, sort of like that Lay's potato chip thing,
right?
And just see. I have done key lime, and this has all just been test. I've done a pumpkin because North Carolina pumpkins are superfluous and they are everywhere, and they are like, how great would that be? I even did what did I do? I did a purple sweet potato pie that was really sort of gross looking. And then I did key lime and Bavarian cream.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. No coconut.
no.
So are those 5 the ones that the founders started with?
They actually had more. And I get, they probably had 7 or 8.
Okay.
And anyone that's downloading this podcast is going to love, I get a call at least, I'll say now it's downshifted to once a month for a raisin pie. Like, what? I don't even have, in all of the archives and everything that we inherited, I don't even have a raisin recipe. Like, I do have some old recipes, but I don't even have. So they are really, number one, dating themselves. But number two, what is a raisin pie and why was it so good? And they have told me over the years it was sort of like really plump, yummy raisins suspended in like a custard. But we don't have that anymore.
No, it doesn't. I don't.
It's not appeal to you.
No, I'll pass on that one.
No, it is down in some people's DNA, pie DNA.
So did there used to be a coconut one?
There used to be strawberry and blueberry, coconut, raisin.
Yes.
Sweet potato, not a regular sweet potato.
Yeah, because I think I remember a coconut one, but I told you on the phone, out of the 5, I love all of them except for apple because I don't like apple anything.
Okay.
I like apples okay themselves, but I just don't like them in things. But I am a huge fan, especially of the peach, of the lemon, and of the chocolate.
Well, there you go.
See, now I love the apple.
I love the apple.
Apple pie is so classic. I don't know.
There is the funny thing about the apple, obviously, is it sells 2 to 1, as you can imagine. But
I know it's your flagship, basically.
it's my flagship. But you will go to different places. I can say this without breaching anything. You can go to different places and order an apple pie and not know it's a B&G. So B&G is represented in a lot of places that without our name on it.
As far as I mean, normally it's sold in the packaging where you know it's B&G because it says right on the label. But for those people who've never tried some, tell us like where do you go to get a B&G?
So the best place and the most consistent place is I am right now in 5 states. I'm not absolutely saturated in 5 states, but you can piece it around. The best place right now is probably at the bakery level, which is just on Northwest Boulevard, $8.95, or ordering online. And we did an online platform about 2 years ago because I was constantly shipping pies out. And I just, needed a more organized way in which to keep that. Right. And then we were featured on Vivian Howard's South by Somewhere, and that has that sustained us during the pandemic, just with mail order for sure. And then people, just like anyone who grew up here and long for that, or remember that, or nostalgia for that, or grandmother, or this, that, the other. They now have a way to get them, and so that has been the sweetest part of the whole thing because it just it sort of catapults a lot of people back to their childhood.
So online continues to be a big part of the business.
It's
now.
a big part of the business now, which I never thought about.
Does it take away some of the hometown feel doing it that way, or I'm just making pies, let's go with it?
No, because the only person that's searching up a B&G pie is someone that remembers it,
wants
it, or
grew up in Winston.
Winston, had it with their, the stories are so great. Like split one with their grandfather every day after school, or whatever. So there's a lot of nostalgia around these products, and that's just the sweetest part about owning it.
Yeah. Cool. So you bought it 12 years ago.
About 12 years ago.
So were you already involved in it before, or did you just go, that's for sale, I'll take it?
Well, so, yeah, pretty much. It was my former husband and I bought it. And then, anyway, we ran it and we sort of brought it up to the 21st century. It was not quite there. And so then, and now I have it solely, but it was an absolute sort of investment purchase. It sort of ran by itself. It had a really good crew. and it ran itself. And
So did you just stumble across it,
we
really?
stumbled across it, really.
Okay.
Actually, we knew that we had known the prior owner, and anyway, so as an investment, and then it became not an investment; it became my full-time job.
Right.
So,
Well, I've not been to any of the iterations of its location, but I remember it on Old Lexington Road because my family's office was around the corner there, right behind where the old AT&T was,
Right.
On Palmer, right beside the fire department. We still own all those properties. We just don't have the businesses there. But I would go out that way to do stuff on Walltown, and I would pass right there on the left in the all-white nondescript building other than just a sign in the front.
little tiny delivery sign.
And I'm like, that's where it is.
I know, right. Same on Northwest Boulevard. We don't really advertise that it's to the public. You're welcome to come in there and buy a pie, but we don't. That is, we try to, we're just a pallets in, pallets out. We're a manufacturer.
Yeah. I do, though. I told you this on the phone. I do want to come see it happen.
I know. You can come anytime.
All right. I'll let you
fun.
know before.
It's fun to see them being made.
It is
Cool.
fun.
Yeah, because I like things like that. It's food and it's like treat type food, so I'm all into that.
We can help. We can definitely help, and it's like a throwback. I mean, I say it all the time. The only automated piece of machinery that we have is our wrapping machine, and that has been updated and sort of certainly procured with today's technology. So we're sort of up to speed on technology, but that's the only plug-in thing that we need to make a B&G pie.
So how many do you make a day?
So that depends, but probably about 2,500.
Okay. So do you make the fillings all yourself, or okay?
Everything's made by hand. That's when you talked about any adorations or anything for. I could always buy filling. It's easier, and you don't have to have so many ingredients on hand. And 2 years ago there was an apple shortage, and then last year there was an apple drought, and there was so it's just it all these commodities are just, it could be easier, but we still make everything, our dough from scratch every morning, and our fillings from scratch every couple days.
How many employees do you have?
They do other stuff because we're in a co-baking environment, which I should have done years ago. So they all work on different stuff, but working in pies in the morning is probably 6-7 people.
So I've always wondered this with places that have different flavors. Do you do one flavor at a time, or do you have stations that are doing different flavors at once?
We do one flavor at a time.
Okay. Is it scheduled? Okay, this is Monday. Monday and Tuesday is going to be apple because we're going to sell a crap ton of those. So let's do that. And then Tuesday's cherry, and Wednesday.
We make fresh, 5 flavors fresh every day.
Okay, so it's just, we do it, here's our, and move on.
I look at the orders. I look at what's coming in. I look at what I know I'm going to need for overage. I look for, I look just in my week's production. And we make every pie every day.
Scott, I watch a lot of those, like on History Channel, and how it's made and all this stuff, and all the assembly lines and all that stuff. But the things when they show about how they used to do it by hand and all that, I just am fascinated with process. Process has always been one of those. My parents used to laugh at me. I just want to know how things work, and if it has buttons, sliders, or knobs, I'm going to be playing with it. So it's those things have always, since I was first learning anything, have always been big to me. So just the process of stuff really gets to me.
Well, then I don't think giving away any trade secrets when I tell you that our process is pretty elementary, and that what we have found that has worked best over the years with many different trials and many different varieties of things is my ladies and men love just a piece of PVC pipe. It's just a plastic sanitized piece of PVC pipe that they use for their rollers, and it just works. And so that is our trade secret. That is why we are so successful. Is that little piece of Home Depot PVC pipe?
Awesome.
Isn't that funny?
That is awesome.
No knobs there.
All right, cool.
So, anything else you want the listeners to know about B&G other than just buy a ton of them?
I would say to go on our website. You certainly don't have to purchase pies, but go on our website and read our history. We touched on it, but there's a really good historical page, and then there's some other pages too. But that gives you the history and sort of where we are and through the decades how we've sustained and how we've come up to still make the same product that we made 2 years ago.
And that's bgpies.com.
It is. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm just looking at the pictures of the wrappers, not even pies, and I'm going, yes, yes.
Well, we will have you down. You will be our next guest. That is my parting promise.
Awesome. And I do also want to, because listeners know this is part of the Less Desirables Podcast Network, I also want to have you come on the Less Desirables to talk about B&G, because we are all about local businesses, not just food, but it's a business regardless. So I definitely want to have you come on there.
I would love it. Thank you.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for being here with us. I have really enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm sure I will get to know you more.
Likewise. Thank you both.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you again to Shannon at B&G Pies for coming and making us want pies. Now I have to go find some. That's how that works. She did a good job of making me want some. The food holidays are sponsored by Mojito Latin Soul Food, your go-to Cuban and Latin-inspired restaurant. While the weather is still nice, go sit on the covered patio and have a delicious Cubano sandwich or some other thing like the ceviche or the pork belly or a mojito, because that's what it's called. You need to go have one. They do reservations, takeout, and deliveries to surrounding businesses like Fiddle and Fish, Broad Branch, Wise Man, and others. And again, check them out on the Facebook page to see the link for the GoFundMe for Zeke on their Facebook page. That would be helpful to them and to him mostly. And you can also probably find that information on MojitoLatinSoulFood.com. So today is the 20th of September. It's National Rum Punch Day.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. My drinking over this weekend got a little sideways. I located some real absinthe with real wormwood, and it didn't really do anything. But now,
did you have sweet dreams?
I did. Did
you have unsweet dreams?
No, and I kind of miss not having the green fairy. Come on, I want this green fairy. But so I had just one of those on Saturday, but Sunday, yesterday, while watching my Steelers lose to the Raiders, I mixed up. I have some Benchmark bourbon, so I wouldn't mix it with top shelf bourbon, but Benchmark's good entry-level bourbon. It's a good mixer.
Perfect.
So I took it was 1 ounce of absinthe, 2 ounces of bourbon,
Interesting.
Angostura bitters, and I got some of the little sugar cubes, and mixed them together, and I had like 4 of those. So
I don't know what that good for 4, but it sounds tasty.
It was because the smokiness from the bourbon and the anise traits of the absinthe and the bitters kind of leveled that out, and the sugar. It was really good. It's supposed to have this is what they call a Sazerac, an absinthe Sazerac.
Okay.
But I didn't have the lemon zest that they wanted to put in there. I'm like, I'm good with this the way it is.
Yeah, cool. It's an interesting combination of flavor.
Yeah, it was really good. The 20th is also National Pepperoni Pizza Day. There are plenty of places in this town to get it.
Shouldn't have a problem there.
It's National Fried Rice Day, so you can get that at New Sichuan that we just talked about. In 1859, George B. Simpson received a patent for an electro heater, which could be used for heating or boiling water, which was good in the 1800s because you didn't know what you were drinking at the time. Filtration had not become a widely used thing, I don't think, at the time. On the 21st of September, it's National Pecan Cookie Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, I used to love those pecan sandies.
Yeah.
Remember? I think Keebler made them.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to eat a lot of those.
Do you not like them now, or you just don't?
Well, I don't eat as many cookies as
Right,
I used
yeah.
to, I guess. But do they still make them? I have to go check.
I think so.
I think they do. I think they do. But there's a great old-fashioned cookie.
Yeah. On the 21st in 1776, the Great Fire of 1776 in New York City happened during the British occupation of the city during the Revolutionary War. A fire broke out into Fighting Cock's Tavern near Whitehall Slip.
Slip.
Slip. It was a slip, yeah. It destroyed between 10 and 25% of the 4,000 buildings in the city at the time. In 1784, the nation's first daily newspaper, the Pennsylvania Packet and Daily Advisor, began publication. I'm going to say that was probably Philadelphia. In 1897, Deere & Company registered the John Deere trademark. Also the same year, the famous editorial, "Is There a Santa Claus?" reply to 8-year-old Virginia O'Hanlon's letter appeared in the New York Sun. And, of course, we're talking about, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. In 1930, John T. Dorrance died. He was an American chemist. He developed a method to make condensed soup and served as president of Campbell's Soup Company from 1914 to 1930. Sorry. In 1937, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit was published. Hobbits were well known as both gourmets and gourmands.
I wouldn't have thought that would be food news, but okay.
Well, it's what day was it? It seems like there was one of these days. It's not there. I think this was the reason that I mentioned that was the 21st is also known as Hobbit Day because you're supposed to have 7 meals that day, right? You know, the 11sies and breakfast, second breakfast.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
All the
So 7 burgers tomorrow.
Yeah, 7. Well, you had 3 today. You didn't eat the whole things, did you?
I'm just getting started.
I've got more to go. In 1959, Congress passed legislation authorizing the Secretary of Agriculture to run a food stamp program through 1962. However, the Eisenhower administration never used the authority, but it did show up a little later. In 1970, this does not have anything to do with food other than probably snack foods that would go with it. In 1970, on the 21st, the Monday Night Football premiered, and it was the Browns beating the Jets 31-21. In 1971, on the 21st, Coca-Cola introduced the plastic bottle.
Oh, wow.
I would have thought that would have been later, but no, I guess not. On the 22nd, the first day of autumn this year, it's National White Chocolate Day. And what former co-host would say, white chocolate is not chocolate.
It technically is not.
You're right.
It's technically correct. Just like tomato is technically not a vegetable.
Right, yeah. And I prefer white chocolate, except for dark chocolate. I like dark chocolate and white chocolate. Milk chocolate's okay.
Yeah. I'm a dark chocolate person for sure.
It's National Ice Cream Cone Day. Yeah, and then that's where the Hobbit Day is the 22nd. I don't know why it wouldn't be the day before.
Okay.
Oh, I do know why. Because this is the 22nd is Bilbo and Frodo's birthday. Yeah. So in 1903, on the 22nd, Italo Marchioni applied for a patent for an ice cream cup mold. Initially, he would just fold warm waffles into a cone shape, Then he developed the two-piece mold that would make 10 cups at a time, so he moved to that. In 1985, on the 22nd, the first Farm Aid concert was held in Champaign, Illinois, and that came from Bob Dylan at Live Aid saying, I hope at least some of this money goes to farmers. So Willie Nelson, Mellencamp, and Neil Young, got together and said, okay, we're going to do this way. And there have been 34 Farm Aids over the years, and they've raised over $60 million for farmers.
It's pretty impressive.
On the 23rd, the Great American Pot Pie Day, specifically Marie Callender's brand, but I think you should make. They're the ones who started it, but I think you should make it at home. I think it would be better for you and better overall. Not have that. We had to douse this in a crap ton of salt to keep it from going bad. In 1848, on the 23rd, the first commercial chewing gum was introduced. It was the State of Maine Spruce Gum, is what it was called.
Spruce?
Yeah, it does not sound appetizing at all. There's one funny. In 2008, on the 23rd, it was Battery by Fart. A man in West Virginia, my home state, which does not surprise anybody, was charged with battery on a police officer when he passed gas and allegedly fanned it towards the officer. He had been taken to the police station for a breathalyzer test when the alleged fart and fan caper occurred. The prosecutor's office later requested that the criminal complaint be dropped.
They should have thrown the book at him. I don't know.
Yeah. How dare you, sir? He was a gas for sure. On the 23rd in 2020, after heavy criticism for promoting racial stereotypes, Mars Inc.'s Uncle Ben's Rice was getting a new name, Ben's Original, and the logo of an elderly African-American man will be dropped from the packaging. And I believe it wasn't long after that Mrs. Butterworth followed.
Yep.
And Aunt Jemima as well.
Right.
On About Time. On the 24th, it's National Cherry Jubilees Day, or Cherry's Jubilee Day. Wow. What is Cherry Jubilee?
You know, I remember my grandmother used to make it when I was a kid, but I haven't had it in ages. But I think it's just kind of a cherry sauce.
It's like vanilla bean ice cream, orange juice, sweet cherries, brandy, and oranges.
It's like a sundae with cherry sauce, basically.
Yeah. In 1940, on the 24th, the French Sardine Company of California registered the Starkist trademark for canned tuna. In 1969, in Ontario, Canada, bans the use of the pesticide DDT effective January the 1st, 1970, which it followed here, I believe, soon after that. In 2013, Burger King introduced Satis Fries, a new crinkle-cut fry with about 20% fewer calories than its regular fries. That kind of scares me, because how do you decalorize a potato?
Well, with fries, the calories are really in the oil.
Sure.
So if you can find out a way to somehow keep the oil off it, or keep it from absorbing oil,
Yeah. So maybe that's when air frying comes.
Fry it better. Find out a better way of frying it.
Yeah. Use better oil. And on the 25th, it's National Lobster Day, and National Family Health and Fitness Day, National Cooking Day, which we're both into, National Hunting and Fishing Day, which is my dad's kind of thing. And National Crab Newburgh Day, which is cheesy, creamy tomato sauce over crab. In 1974, on the 25th, it is first reported that Freon from aerosol cans is destroying the ozone layer. It took them that long to figure that out. In 2007, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office issued a certificate canceling all claims related to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich patent. I didn't know that they had one. In 2019, thieves stole around 50,000 Golden Delicious apples worth about $27,000 from Williams Orchard in LaPorte, Indiana. Wonder if B&G gets any of their apples from there. On the 26th, it's Better Breakfast Day.
Ooh. National
Dumpling Day. Again, New Szechuan. Their pork soup dumplings. I highly recommend. This is not they are not a sponsor. I'm just saying they're that damn good. It's also Johnny Appleseed Day on the 26th because John Chapman, also known as Johnny Appleseed, was born, and he was an American pioneer and legend. He planted apple seeds in the Ohio River Valley, which is Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. In 1820, Daniel Boone died, and the only reason I bring that up is because there are two towns in this state, even on our side of the state, named after him. Boone, obviously, and Booneville, even though it's missing the E. Right. they left the E off.
And there's that cave down, the Boone's Cave.
Where is that?
I think, I'm going to say it's down near Salisbury around where it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but there's a cave that's supposedly associated with Daniel Boone. You can go visit.
Okay. In 1914, the U.S. FTC was established, the Federal Trade Commission. And that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, and just making us wonder about the qualities of Cherry's Jubilee and bring back stuff as kids. And the debate of white chocolate being chocolate or not chocolate. And I think, all agree that it is not.
Correction. Boone's Cave Park is actually Lexington.
Okay.
But not just a stone's throw down the road.
But it's still involved with Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax Vinyl Daily, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media and whatever else you need there on that website. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on any of the podcasters that you're listening to. This is a reminder to all of our listeners, and it's good practice, not just now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for about 20 seconds or more. If you don't know how long 20 seconds is, this might not be singing in this, but it's fun. So just go with this. You'll know what to do. Awesome guitar lick.
Nice.
41 years ago today, this album was released. Blizzard of Oz. It was Ozzy's first album after leaving Black Sabbath. One of two recorded with the virtuoso Randy Rhoads before his death in 1982.
Great guitars.
So that's probably Ozzy's anthem. He had a lot of great songs, but that's probably the one that, people immediately think of when they think of Ozzy Osbourne. That and like bats' heads and stuff. So keep an eye on the blog and this podcast and the Winston-Salem Journal with Michael's columns and articles and news. To find out more about the food news and happenings around town, if you have food news, send an email to tim@themanwhoatethetown.com or contact Michael. You can contact us on the Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter instant messengers. Sometimes it is Twister. Just like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And you can leave a voicemail for the podcast, any podcast on the TLD network. Just call 336-422-6862. That's 336-422-NUM. Leave a voicemail, and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUM-6862. Michael, good to have you back again.
Thank you, Tim.
And we'll hopefully hear next week who won the burger thing.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. And thank you to Shannon at B&G Pies for stopping by and spending her a little bit of her afternoon with us. That was great to see her. My name's Tim.
And I'm Michael.
And we are closing the recipe trunk. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas.
views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.